interwebs. I'm back. I know. You're like, damn it, I thought the new year would make a better interwebs. It doesn't. It still brings me. Because the interwebs is designed to disappoint. Now.
It really is.
Just as I am disappointed for finding out that you can't get a non-edited Fist of the North Star in America.
Original.
Because I just want finger poking, punch exploding goodness. And Record of Lotus War. Mostly because... And what was the movie? There was a series? These 5 brothers that were actually dragons? I don't remember what that was called.
Don't know that one.
Joey used to make me watch all this stuff. But Joey's dead now, so he can't really answer any of these questions.
Sadness.
And I want the movie so I can remember Joey. So it's a conundrum.
It is.
It's like an anime snake eating its own tail.
Well, we've got Full Metal Alchemist for that.
I ain't gonna watch any fucking Full Metal Alchemist. I can suck it. Anything that became popular, I'm like an anime hipster. Except I'm not hip. Or stir. I really just want the stuff I remembered. For nostalgic reasons. And most of the stuff now literally looks all the same to me. I watch and go, wow, this is just the same as... There's like 4 categories, and it's all like the same shit. So I'll be like, look, I'm going to be over here with my Ranma, my Lotus War, my 3x3 Eyes.
Love 3x3 Eyes.
Maybe a little On My Goddess. That I'm so old that the original versions that I had were translated in America to Oh My Goddess. Apparently it was a big deal between the O and the Ah. I don't know, get some Mason and Koku, all those Mermaid's Tail, Mermaid's Scar, Mermaid's Tears, get all those. Big on old Rumiko Takahashi.
Oh yeah, it's Miyazaki's birthday today, 75.
See? Those are the new stuff I'll get, under the guise of I'm buying them for Bella, but then I watch them with her. For Christmas, she was very happy. They finally put on Blu-ray, so she finally got her, that we had on VHS, but we haven't had a VCR hooked up for like a year or 2, so she hasn't been able to watch. What was the first Lupin movie? Castle Cagliostro. So they released that, and we finally got. She was waiting for that latest Ghibli film.
Wind Rises.
No, after that, when Marnie was here, so she got that one. Alright, let's review some comical books instead of talking about mostly manga that's older than the internet. First up, SpiderMan Deadpool #1. That's right, I paid money for a book that's half Deadpool, because it's half Spider-Man. And I was ready to bitch about it too, because I'm me. And this is the internet, and that's what the internet's for. Bitching about things that you feel go against what you wanted.
If I had respect for you, I may have just lost it.
Yeah, it's okay. I didn't have respect for me either. But this was really, really good. Alright? Aside from the obvious, you got some Ed McGuinness art in there, so that's a plus. I didn't bother reading. I don't care. Stop trying to make me like that Vision miniseries. I gave the first issue a shot when it came out. I didn't like it. I read the free one in here, and I was like, maybe. No, still didn't like it. But this was funny. It's also just interesting to see the way they've been handling Spidey since Bendis took over Avengers. Has been that Spidey was always a mouth, but they've made him more annoying when in the company of other heroes. So it's interesting to see Spidey be out-Spidey'd, where Spidey has to be the straight man, because it's Deadpool who is just, it's like when your parents, when you're doing things when you're a kid, and your parents I hope someday you have a kid just like you. Well, it's like the Avengers. I hope someday you have a team up with a hero just like you. And now he's got Deadpool. Some interesting twists, especially at the end when we find out who Deadpool has a target for. But it was really good, and the part that I was ready to bitch the most at was I was going to be like, they tricked me into buying that one Avengers book. I want to say Uncanny Avengers,
Sounds
because Spidey was in it, and he quits in the first issue because he can't stand Deadpool. And I was like, so why would he quit the Avengers and then still hang around with Deadpool? But that's actually a topic. Deadpool tries to get Spidey to team up with him under the guise of, he's like, look, I thought maybe I could hang out with you, and you know, maybe I could earn your respect. You know, you quit the Avengers because of me. I feel bad. Blah, blah, blah. So it's all in there. But really, of course, he's Deadpool. That's not his actual motivation. There's some great Deadpool regeneration going on where, you know, eventually Deadpool will have to regrow legs. He has a Bamf trapped that he's using to teleport.
Is his belt broken again?
Spidey frees the Bamf from, it's got a collar on it that Mrs. Deadpool has put on this thing. Spidey frees the Bamf, and Deadpool's left holding the Bamf, goes, no, don't. And then later when you see, you hear an off-panel Bamf, and when you see Deadpool again, he's regrowing a hand because the Bamf teleported away with it.
The hand.
Made me laugh.
That is amazing.
Amazing Spider-Man, number 6. More Peter Parker-y goodness. Cloak and Dagger. See, I stopped reading Spidey for a while because didn't care, and then I jumped back on with Superior Spider-Man, and loved it. So somewhere in the interim, I missed Mr. Negative apparently reversing Cloak and Dagger, so that now Dagger shoots daggers of darkness, and Cloak is this cloak of light. But Mr. Negative is freed and reverted to Mr. Negative against his will. And it's Mr. Negative and the negativized, mind-controlled Cloak and Dagger versus Spidey. And it's really good. Dan Slott, he's good. He's just good. Spidey, I'm having a harder time with. I love Nick Bradshaw's art, and to an extent, I like these stories. But to another extent, they seem too modern to be the best. Like, it's little things where they don't really fit. It's neither 100% a redo of the original Spider-Man years, and it's not 100% this fits nicely in with what's already done. It's kind of, you have to take it with, with a little, I don't know, grain of salt, be a little flexible with it. I'm not always the most flexible, but also it's other little things that bother me. Like, the whole point was, if you've got Peter running around with, a cell phone and whatever, and then you've got him taping up what looks like an old still takes film, might be digital, but really it looks more like a still takes film kind of camera. That whole thing of, he's able to, in the age of cell phones and all the camera capabilities thereof, the idea of being able to be in the right spot. How does he get those pictures of Spider-Man? Anybody can do it now. By the time Peter's selling these pictures, they would, to the Daily Bugle, there would be 48 pictures up on, various websites already. So, and Aunt May looks young and spry, and the whole, half of Peter's guilt comes from, oh my God, I can't reveal that I'm doing all this stuff to my frail aunt, who she was like an elderly aunt when she adopted him, or when she, did she ever truly adopt him? I don't know, but she was an elderly aunt when she got her hands on him. So that's what made the whole, oh my God, I can't have this effect. So to have Aunt May suddenly go from, she's, a lady in her, 70s, 80s, raising a kid who's also a superhero, and she's, oh my, that Spider-Man terrifies me, to she's like, yeah, I'm in my, I'm like 48. And,
so kind of like what they do with her in the
Ultimate
Spider-Man show.
She's a little too capable, which is good in its own way, but it changes everything on
the dynamic,
yeah, the whole dynamic. Spider-Man 2099 teams up with Captain America 2099 in today. It's good. It's Peter David writing Spider-Man 2099. Therefore, it is good. This is number 5? Read it, love it, do it. I said so. SpiderGwen has a fight with Harry Osborn. He's a goblin, but not really a villain. He's out for revenge for Peter Parker, who was the lizard, but got killed by SpiderGwen. Yeah, It's a complicated alternate dimension within the SpiderGwen. It's good though. Sometimes a bit too clever for its own good. Like, you know, she's singing various song lyrics, which you would imagine a young superhero person would do. However, if she's a young superhero person in today, she's probably not singing some of these songs. It's just, you know, some TV show theme songs that just seem like not probably the first go-to of today's modern young Gwen Stacy. Howard the Duck #3, setting up the plus the last Gwenpool story ever. Just kidding, she'll be back. I don't care about Gwenpool. SpiderGwen, clever. Gwenpool just makes no damn sense to me. I read the backup story because I read everything that's in the comics that I pay for. And it had Howard the Duck, and it. I don't know what to tell you. But the main actual story, really, really good. I do love who's the artist on this because. And I'm going to say it wrong because I just looked at it. Alright, so it's a Joe Quinones.
Quinones.
He said, Quinones. See? The Italian in me just really wants to accent the vowels and not play as much with the consonants. It's rough being on the wrong side of the original Latin. I'm from the rough part of the Latin tracks.
Wasn't me.
Just sounded like when you're little and you've got one of those doorstop things behind on the wall. And yeah, that's what it just sounded like. Just have it. But yeah, this has the continuing adventures of Sprocket Raccoon and I forget.
Sprocket Raccoon?
Yeah, she's the girl clone of Rocket.
Oh, yes.
And, Shocket Raccoon and Linda the Duck are,
Gender swap.
the gender swap clones for breeding purposes. Howard has become the living embodiment. Howard has superpowers. Not necessarily that he controls. He is the living embodiment of the nexus of all realities that brought him here. So now he sort of can send people anywhere.
Dimension pops all over.
So yeah, well he doesn't seem to, but and then let's see, Uncanny X-Men #1. It's the villain X-Men and Monet. It was a little sad to see Monet very flirty with Sabretooth because I like Monet, who is very flirty with Guido in X Factor, but then Guido actually, committed murder and went to hell for the sole purpose of saving her, which I could understand why that make you not be a big fan of his anymore, but it still saddens me that,
Ungrateful
he did all that, yeah, and she's out there flirting with Sabretooth. Archangel is Archangel again, but doesn't seem to have any real persona, and Psylocke seems to blame herself for that, so, Sabretooth he's the best of both worlds. Is
this still the shit
he's still
good?
Yeah, he's still the inverted Sabretooth, where he's a good guy, but he's aware that it's he's aware that it's that he's that shift. While he now wants to be good, he knows it wasn't his original decision to want to be good. So he likes to tell the people, you're just like, I should have just gutted you, but I'm not gonna. That's not me anymore. So that was kind of cool. And it's Cullen Bunn on Magneto. He was writing Magneto when I last left, so this all kind of works. Some new bad guys should be interesting. I liked it. Good job. It's off to a good start. All right, Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars #14, and Star Wars Darth Vader #15. The last two parts of Vader Down. Some good stuff. Those droids that I can't stand. Apparently there's an issue I missed somewhere, probably in some of our skip weeks through the holidays, where they caught poor 3PO, and after Chewbacca had ripped off the evil C-3PO's arms, he took C-3PO's actual arms, so that he has them now, and 3PO is armless. And they twisted 3PO's head around just because they could.
He's a droid.
Vader proves that you can't, doesn't matter what the forces are against him. Vader's facing rebels, stormtroopers, and, higher-ups in the Empire that are trying to, unseat Vader's position. And he's just like, fuck it, I'm Vader. There is a brief moment when he's haunted by ghosts of the past. Lots of movie quotes come at him as he walks through the Jedi Temple. Also interesting to see Luke pursuing Jedi temples, because the new movie, Luke, Jedi Temple. Spoilery, yes. Also spoilery, it's just good to see Han doing things. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Still really, really good. And an interesting turn of events as Vader's little sidekick buddy there gets caught by our intrepid heroes. So she has information that Luke won't be privy to for a movie and a half from now. So, it's interesting to see how they skirt around that. Invincible Iron Man number 5 continues to be great. This features possibly new leaf turning, prettier faced Doctor Doom. This features Doctor Strange. This features Mary Jane getting a job offer after her new club is completely destroyed by Doctor Doom, Iron Man, and Madame Mask.
Of course.
All some really good stuff. Interestingly enough, Avengers Legos feature a Quicksilver that doesn't have holes in it, so that's good. Swamp Thing number 1 of 6 by Len Wein and Kelly Jones. I'm exactly on the line on this. It's really good because it's Len. I created the Swamp Thing, Wein, who, even if he hadn't created the Swamp Thing and therefore should be allowed to do anything he wants with Swamp Thing, he wrote the 1980s DC Comics Blue Beetle series with Ted Kord. And therefore, everything he does is above reproach. Because I said so. But that aside, I loved the Charles Soule take on Swamp Thing. So this was great, and this reminds me of quote unquote real Swamp Thing. But at the same time, I was like, oh, this is nothing like the Swamp Thing that I just fell in love with and even bought all the trades to. So I was torn between two Swamp Things, feeling like a fool. So it's either the best or the worst of both. It's painfully great and wonderfully painful, I guess. Rocket and Groot. Doom, 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 doom. Rocket and Groot are dead, but maybe they're not. Maybe Groot's got tattoos that look like they were carved into him by kids while he was at a park or something. Rocket seems to think he's a dictator, and there are new characters. One is like a mouse, but I'm going to assume is like a kangaroo rat or a possum because its name is Pockets instead of Rocket. And it teams up with a shorter talking plant that says "Me are shrub" instead of "I am Groot."
We are shrub.
Yeah. So the rest of the Guardians think that that the team is dead. In fact, it starts with, look, there's that scene from the previous run where they were talking to the kids at the camp, and Rocket saying, listen up, it's been 8 months since that crazy thing happened. That thing that was secret and kind of warlike. Anyways, me and my buddy Groot here may have kind of disappeared. But don't get too worried. Our names are on the cover. How bad could things be? And it cuts straight to 8 months after all that crazy Secret Wars stuff. And we're gathered here to pay respects to our fallen Guardians. And yeah, Rocket and Groot are dead. But not really. Da-da-da-da. Superman Action Comics 48. This issue made me happy. The artwork was gorgeous. it's Aaron Cooter on art, and Rafa Sandoval, with Cooter and Tarragona on inks. It's just really pretty to look at. Who does the colors on this? Because that's beautiful too. Tomeu Mori. It's just beautiful to look at. Story wise, also look at that. That's the Atom, looking just like Superboy, and making me miss Cooter's run on Superboy. Even though I don't think he did the art on it. I think he just wrote it, but it still makes me miss it because it reminds me of Superboy, and Aaron Cooter. Whatever. It just guest stars Justice League United. I was happy to see some people there. It's always nice to see Animal Man. Even his costume has grown on me. All sorts of strangeness happens, and it's all building towards, including Superman in an armor that's run on kryptonite and may kill him in hours.
Oh, awesome!
And it's all leading up to whatever they're gonna do that's gonna repower the Super-Duper Man. Totally awesome Hulk number 2 continues to be totally awesome, with the exception of, alright, Greg Pak, you overdid it this time. Little too cutesy on some of the dialogue. Apparently one of the alien species that they've fought so far is called the Krakalakassian. The Krakalakassian.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
That just hurts.
It does. She's like, oh, wait, what does she call them? And even a double-headed Krakalakassian. And even like the planet that this lady Hellbender is from is just something that just sounds like cheesy 60s sci-fi, where you get a little more hint as to what's going on with it's like something like Snecklef 9 or whatever. It's something that sounds.
Oh, please stop.
Where's the Seknarf on Seknarf 9. I'm like, it just sounds like old, I mean, maybe it's done on purpose to sound like that old 60s Marvel sci-fi, we are the Seknarfians of Seknarf 9. It just reads like that. But art-wise, still gorgeous. Story-wise, still lots of fun. We've already found out that Amadeus Cho Hulk's weakness is the ladies. They make him all like ooh la la, and he gets kind of stupid around them. But we get to see him completely Hulk out, almost crushing poor Miles Morales because his sister's in danger. And apparently that's the way. How do you get this Hulk to Hulk out? You threaten his sister, and he goes all, little brother smash. And so that was kind of cool. Yeah, it's good. It's fun. I like it. I approve of these changes. Guardians of Infinity. They come to terms. This guy has some crazy ass powers. But they come to terms with the fact that all three, the Guardians of the Year 1000, Guardians of the Year
3000,
2000, and the Guardians of 3000 are all Guardians. And they don't have to fight. But they have to fight everybody else. And it gets complicated. Special flashback, origin-y bitch planet that gives us the history behind Mako Maki. There's some murder, espionage, and attempted sexual assault. But if you're gonna try and, I guess, if you're gonna be the kind of corrupt guard who tries to sexually assault the female prisoners, you should also be the kind of corrupt guard who doesn't get his ass kicked by the, you can't be the badass rapey guy if you're just the sad ass gets your butt beat guy. So, crime doesn't pay. Nova number 3. Nova now knows that his dad is not really his dad. He's sad by this. Iron Man sends him out on patrol It's like, the Kid Avengers, where they see this monster-y looking thing stealing food, and they chase it down to the subway and down a hole, where it turns out to be one of the Mole Man's moloids. And apparently Mole Man may or may not have a son. He may just be delusional. And he thinks that the Kid Avengers are his son's spies. So he gasses them, puts them in the arena where they will fight a rather familiar-looking monster. As the cover to the next one shows the Terrific 3 versus, in a rather famous homage, Mystery Girl #2. So good. I love this book. Once she meets you, she knows all the things you're about to ask her. She knows the answers. She can solve any mystery. They're not a mystery. She just knows the stuff. The only thing she can't solve is her own. Who is she and why can she do this? She doesn't know. Someone is sent to kill her, but of course the second he meets her, she knows all this. Actually, the second she meets the friend of hers that the killer is sleeping with to get information on her, then once she meets this friend of hers and says, "Ooh, what's my new boyfriend like? Is he the one?" She goes, "You need to get out and stay the hell away from him." And now she knows everything about this guy. But then blackmail is involved, and nothing like having to team up with the guy who was sent to kill you, because, otherwise he'll kill everyone you know. So,
circumstances.
It's one of those. It's just one of those days. Replica #2 from Aftershock Comics. This is so good. This needs to be like the greatest Sci-Fi Channel show ever. It's like Law and Order and Orphan Black and what's the comic? What's the space Western detectives comic that I like?
Copperhead.
I'm going to say something with a metal in the name. Copperhead. It's like the three of those had a baby. And that baby married Top 10. And it had a baby. And you got this. It's like...
That's a lot.
Yeah. And that baby read... While growing up, that baby read, like, Blade Runner and just like lots of genre-y detective-y stuff. This guy is a detective on a planet that's an amalgam of various other alien races. In the first issue, he goes to a cloning place and pays to get a clone of himself so that they can be him to, because his partner is an alien, but he keeps doing stupid things, so he wants to get another him to help him out. Something goes wrong with the machine. He ends up with like 50-something clones, one of which is obviously bad because we see the silhouette of one of the betrayers and can realize quite quickly that it's got the same inimitable hairstyle of our boy. But now he's got all these clones, and they're just kind of elite task force of clones of himself, and still his couple alien partners and whatever, undergoing this giant there are no words to explain it, but once you read it, you'll realize, oh my God, this is, I can't describe it either, but it filled a hole I didn't know I had in my comic reading soul.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Speaking of good things, I am out of comical books that I read, so I guess this is goodbye.
For the new year, we'll be back.
Thanks for watching another video from Gonna Geek. If you like geeky stuff, check out our podcast network, our news and articles, and our community forums. You can find it all at GonnaGeek.com, like us at Facebook.com/GonnaGeek, tweet us at GonnaGeek, subscribe to our YouTube channel at YouTube.com/GonnaGeek, and check out our live programming at GonnaGeek.com/live.